All right, get ready for a world tour of the weird. We're about to dig into some geography facts that are so wild, they'll make you rethink everything you thought you knew about our planet. Seriously, let's jump right in.
So let me ask you something. What if a whole continent, a lost continent, was just hiding right under our noses? I'm talking about a huge piece of land just sitting there beneath the ocean. Sounds like something out of a movie, right? Well, it's a real mystery, and we're going to get to the bottom of it today, along with a few other mind benders. Okay, so our first stop on this trip is all about extreme waters. And I mean extreme. These are not your everyday lakes and rivers, believe me. This is nature just showing off. How about this? A river so hot, it literally kills anything that falls in. Picture it, deep in the Amazon rainforest. For the longest time, people thought it was just a legend, a spooky story. But nope, it is 100% real. Yeah, we're talking 200 degrees Fahrenheit. That's almost boiling. Any poor creature that falls in, well, it doesn't stand a chance. It's a seriously deadly place. It's called the Sinai Timpishka, and it's in Peru. This thing flows for 4 miles, and it's just dangerously hot the whole way. But here's the crazy part. There are no volcanoes anywhere nearby. So where's the heat coming from? Turns out, it's geothermal springs way, way deep in the earth that are basically superheating the water from below. All right, let's switch gears to another water wonder, Lake Baikal in Russia. Now, this isn't just a big lake. It is so massive that it holds 20%, 1/5, of all the fresh surface water on the entire planet. Let me put it this way. If you could somehow pull the plug on Lake Baikal, it would take every single river in the world flowing for a full year just to fill it back up. That's insane. Ever seen an underwater waterfall? No, really. Off the coast of Mauritius, it looks like that's exactly what's happening. But it's actually one of nature's greatest tricks. What you're seeing isn't water falling into an abyss. It's sand and silt pouring over the edge of an underwater cliff. The effect, though? Whoa. It's just incredible. Okay, next up, we're thinking bigger. We're talking planetary scale puzzles. These are the kinds of facts that just mess with your sense of scale and show you that Earth itself is maybe even weirder than other planets. Check this out. Russia, one country on Earth, is bigger than Pluto. Not like a little bigger. It has more surface area than the entire dwarf planet. You could plop Pluto down inside Russia and still have some space left over. Just think about that for a second. The scale is just staggering. And here's another one to wrap your head around. Australia, the continent, is wider than the moon. I mean, from one side to the other, it's a bigger distance than the entire diameter of the moon. A piece of our planet is bigger than our biggest neighbor in the sky. It really does put things into a new perspective. Okay, so remember that lost continent I was talking about at the beginning? Well, it has a name, Zealandia. And this number, 94%, that's the key. A whopping 94% of this gigantic continent is underwater, just sitting there at the bottom of the Pacific, hiding in plain sight. And get this, it was only officially called a continent back in 2017. Wild. So it's not just the planet's geography that's weird. The way we humans live on it can be pretty strange, too. Let's take a look at some of the most unique places people call home. Let's go to Whittier, Alaska. It's a town where pretty much everyone, all 200 or so residents, lives in the same building. It's a big 14-story old army barracks, and it's got everything. I'm talking the post office, the grocery store, the school, the clinic, everything. When those brutal Alaskan winters hit, some people don't even have to go outside for weeks at a time. So we go from a whole town in one building to a whole town of one person. Welcome to Minoe, Nebraska. Population 1. Her name is Elsie Eiler, and since she's the only one there, she's also the mayor, the librarian, and the bartender at the town tavern, which, of course, she owns. She pays taxes to herself and grants her own liquor license. You can't make this stuff up. And then you've got a place like Istanbul. It's a city that's literally on 2 continents at once. The Bosphorus Strait cuts right through it, with Europe on one side and Asia on the other. For thousands of people, commuting from one continent to another is just their daily drive to work. Imagine that. You could grab breakfast in Europe and then pop over to Asia for lunch, and you'd never even leave the city. All right, for our last stop, we're diving into nature's grand illusions. These are things that look completely impossible, like magic, but there's some really cool science behind them. Okay, picture the whitest place on Earth, Antarctica. Now imagine a glacier that looks like it's bleeding. It's a real place called Blood Falls, and yeah, it looks exactly like its name. But don't worry, it's not actually blood. It's super salty water full of iron that's been trapped under the glacier for millions of years with no oxygen. The second it flows out and hits the air, the iron basically rusts on the spot, turning this incredible spooky red color. Did you know that the Earth can sing? I'm serious. In some deserts, you can hear it. They're called singing dunes. When conditions are perfect and the sand slides down the dunes, it creates this deep, low humming sound. It's this eerie music that can travel for miles, made by nothing but sand and wind.
So, can a car roll uphill? Well, if you go to a place called Magnetic Hill in Canada, it sure looks like it. You park your car at what looks like the bottom of the hill, put it in neutral, and it starts to roll uphill, all on its own. It feels like it's breaking the laws of physics. But it's actually a super clever optical illusion. The way the land is shaped all around you fools your eyes and makes you think down is up.
So what are we seeing today? Rivers that boil, a whole continent hiding underwater, towns with only one person, and hills that mess with gravity. It just goes to show you our world is so much weirder and more amazing than we usually give it credit for.
And believe me, this is just scratching the surface. It really makes you think, right? We've mapped so much of our planet, but what else is out there? What other unbelievable secrets are still hiding right in front of us, just waiting to be found?